Welcome back to the Tuesday Tea. My name's Carly.
My name's Maddie.
What's with the giggle? And this is the Tuesday Tea.
This is it.
This is why you're here.
You're in the right spot.
Yeah.
This week, we're going to be talking about your guys' crazy neighbor stories. And I'm so excited because I have a doozy of a neighbor.
Do you?
I do. Yeah.
Currently?
You don't know about my neighbor stories?
You love your neighbor.
No, I loathe him. One of them.
Okay, well, are you going to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll get into that
in
a little bit. Your guys' stories that you sent in were really good.
Yeah, they are.
So we're excited to go through those. But before we do that, we're going to do a little yippity yap, you know?
Yeah, yappity yip.
You got any life updates, Carly?
It's really cold outside.
Oh, it's frigid.
It's like another level, and I think November, December was really lucky, and I was cruising at a good 40, 50 degree winter, thinking that was going to be it. For some reason in my brain, maybe I'm the only one, I think November and December are always the worst months. Mm-hmm. And then January, February roll around, and it's like a slap in the face of like, psych, you're wrong. So I was thinking today, when I moved to Texas, my spice tolerance increased. Okay, just work with me. It'll be a full circle. She's confused. We'll come back.
For reference, Carly thinks like some ketchup brands are spicy.
That's not true. That's what we call an over-exaggeration.
Well, you have the lowest spice
so
tolerance
bad.
out of anyone that I've ever met.
Last night we went to a comedy show, and we got nachos, and there were jalapenos on top, but it wasn't like the slices. It was like the whole thing just seasoned as what looked to be a decor on top of the nachos, which is just aggressive.
Yeah, so some of the juice like got on the pizza.
My goodness. There was a moment, because you have to be quiet, there was a moment where I thought my lips were going to fall off. But no, I hate spice. I think there's no flavor, so I don't know why people enjoy pain. However, I will say, when I moved to Texas, I had the same spice tolerance I do now. Yeah. But because literally everything in Texas is spicier, just like the standard of non-spicy food is spicier than the average Wisconsin, Alaska, Germany food.
Yes. Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah. So my spice tolerance increased, and it was awesome because I could eat spicy things and not be so affected. And I fear that coming from growing up in Wisconsin, living in Minnesota where it's brutally cold, Germany and Alaska are all very cold, and then moving to Dallas, and now here, my tolerance has completely decreased. So I was walking out of work yesterday, and it was 12 degrees. And I walk out, and there's these three lovely ladies that are yapping. They're older, and they were such a vibe walking into this establishment. And I just screamed. I just did my scream. I did my cold howl. And they all just thought it was the funniest thing. Like, there's nothing in me that can control the outburst of how cold the air is.
For reference, Carly, whenever she gets really cold, she just screams. So that's what she's talking about.
It's a light Tourette's because it isn't controllable. Like if you paid me, I probably wouldn't.
If you paid me,
I probably wouldn't do it.
If I had money, then I could control it. But if I have no money, no.
No, that's not what I meant. I meant like if you're like, okay, Carly, I'll Venmo you to not scream right now when you're cold. I'll be like, okay, fine, I can control that. But typically, I can't. Like, you've seen me. When I'm cold, it just like it has to come out. It's building in the throat and then in the chest.
It does. Sometimes you just got to let it out.
Yeah, and you've been letting it out recently, which I'm loving for you. My ex hated that, which he can kick rocks because love me as I am. But anyways, I'm really cold and I'm really not okay with it. And I think I used to be okay with it, or I had a tolerance.
Yeah.
All that. Wait,
what does that have to do with spicy food?
My tolerance levels.
Oh, okay.
So I'm wondering if there's like a cold tolerance or a warm tolerance.
Yeah, there definitely is, because when I was in California, 60 degrees was cold, and now 60 degrees here is a lovely day.
That's a bathing suit day.
I know. Like, mind you, today in Nashville it is 22 degrees is the high, and the low is 9. I'm sorry? No.
So awful. I thought I was built for this. I'm not.
It's so bad. And you know what? I have a high energy little pup that still needs to go on walks every day.
Yes.
If you guys, live in Nashville and you see me walking my dog, no, you didn't.
No,
because
you didn't.
the outfits that I wear to walk this dog, and I walk on a very public street. Like, I'll wear like leggings, sweatpants over the leggings, a hoodie, and then like a puffer that goes down to my knees, all zipped up. So I'm like waddling kind of. And then I'll have a hood, and then I'll put earmuffs on and gloves. I'm a scene. But,
I mean,
you know, I got to do what I got to do.
What are you supposed to do? There's no chic way to stay warm.
I feel like there is. I'm just...
What are you going to do? Wear jeans down the road?
Yeah.
Like, it's not happening. I've never seen a woman walk their dog in jeans.
Yeah, that's a questionable decision if you do that for sure. But
definitely psychopath behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, yesterday I wore leggings under my jeans to the comedy show.
Did you really?
Yes.
Wow, that's
my
commitment.
bones are cold.
Yeah.
Like, when I get cold, I don't get cold and then I'm fine. It's like, it's to my bones. I can feel it.
That's the worst when you just can't get warm.
Yeah.
Oh, there's nothing like it.
So that's my life update.
You're cold.
I'm cold all the time. I did buy a space heater from Maddie's recommendation, and I just carry it with me in the house.
Nice.
Yeah, everywhere
you don't need to plug it in?
No, I do. I plug it in everywhere I go in the house.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not great. Today I was blowing it on my feet while I was eating breakfast in the kitchen.
Wow. Innovative.
The
I
house
like it.
is not insulated. It's awful. My bedroom's warm, but every other place in the house is freezing. So yeah, that's my life update. Yeah.
Mine is that we started a pickleball league. We haven't talked about that. Yay!
We're going for gold. We're going for gold.
We just had our second week. So it's just a league where once a week we go and play random teams. And our first week, we did great. Won 4-0, right?
Yeah, the confidence was high.
Yeah, we did really good. This last week, not so much. We actually played pretty poorly, but we had fun and we made friends while doing it.
I think had we played the people we played last week, we would have won with how we played. I think they were just really good and we made some errors.
But I think we were playing at below our capacity.
Yes. It's so freaking fun, though. Like, just getting out, meeting new people, being active.
Yeah. Like, honestly, if you guys are looking for a way to meet friends, intramural leagues are the way to go.
They really are.
Pickleball is a little bit tough because you have to have someone to play with.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not like you're in a big group setting. It's just 2-on-2.
Mm-hmm.
But you still make friends.
Yeah, you mingle, you chat.
Yeah, and like you could do a kickball league, you could do volleyball. There's so many different types of sports. You can even join like a walking group or a run club. Also, I went to my first run club the other week.
Did.
Really trying to be social.
And it was cold, so that was just
that was like 30 degrees.
Courageous.
That was a lot. But yeah, I just showed up by myself and went, and it was really fun. I think those kinds of things are really intimidating, but if you just go and do it, you know, you meet new people. Did I meet anyone that was going to be like a lifelong friend? No, but I still went and chatted and had fun.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like walk clubs, run clubs, intramural sports, those are such good ways to meet people. So
yeah, I agree. And there's no way also that even if you didn't meet a lifelong friend, that it doesn't like exercise some part of the brain, putting yourself in uncomfortable situations that like just push you a little bit outside your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. And who knows what's going to happen. Like, you might meet somebody there next week that you just love. And I think it's cool also that they facilitate introductions and conversations, because I've been to run clubs before where it's literally just a gaggle of people and they say, okay, here's the path. And then you just go. And it's like, I would have loved to have met people, but everyone's kind of in like little groups. Yeah. And you don't want to literally be like Mean Girls and like walk up to somebody. Yeah. And then get rejected.
Yeah. So for reference, what Carly's talking about is this run club that I went to, they did something where they asked us to line up like facing someone else, and then they ask you a question. It was like, what was your favorite sandwich or something? So that you and that person have something to talk about. So that was nice. So you meet at least one person before you start running. So I like that they did that. But yeah, it was fun.
What was your favorite sandwich? You make a mean sandwich.
I said a toasted Italian.
Is that what you make?
No. Well, the one you like is like my turkey sandwich. You guys, I'm not going to lie.
You guys,
when it comes to bread, your girl can throw some things together. I have thought
so good.
I have thought multiple times about opening my own toast truck because I make the best toast, like breakfast toast is what I call it, avocado toast, and then I toast my turkey sandwich. There's avocado on it, but yeah.
I don't know what you're putting in those sandwiches, but everything you make with bread involved tastes like crack.
Yeah.
Like I asked for hers while she was eating it because I had already finished mine. Like it's just always so good.
Thank you.
It's a naturally given gift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I make a mean sandwich.
Yeah.
So
I'm proud to know you. It's nice.
proud to eat my sandwiches.
Yes. She feeds me a lot. It's amazing. Okay, what else? What else is new?
So I've been getting into my historical fiction era.
Yeah. Love. What are you reading?
The Woman.
The Woman.
It's about
the women?
The Woman.
The woman or the women?
I'm sorry?
By Kristin Hannah? The
Yeah.
women? The women or the woman?
I don't know. The Woman. Woman? What's the difference? I'm so confused. Like woman or woman?
Woman or woman, yeah.
You're saying the same word twice.
It's singular or plural?
Well, you're saying it the same way.
The woman is one singular
the
individual
woman.
or the women, which is plural women.
Plural women.
Plural womans.
The women.
The women. By
Did I stutter? The woman.
Ah, that's good. Okay, I have heard. Okay, hold on a second. I'm gonna have to look you in the eye and tell you this. I don't want to know the plot.
I'm only like 12 chapters in.
Oh, I thought
I'm
you
not
said
even
12
halfway.
pages. 12 pages in. Okay. Keep it high level. I've heard really good things about the book, and I'm obsessed with reading Kristin Hannah, so I'm excited to hear.
Okay. So this is my first book by Kristin Hannah. I've never read any of her books before.
You're kidding me.
No. What are her other books that are
The
good?
Nightingale is her most popular historical fiction.
I've heard you talk about that all the time.
Top 10 books of the whole world.
Okay.
Non-negotiable.
Got it.
The Four Winds.
I don't know if I've heard. Is that historical fiction?
No.
Okay.
Just fiction. And then The Great Alone. And that one's based in Alaska.
Okay.
Oh my gosh. That one honestly is probably top 10 actually for me too.
Really?
Well, okay. So here's the thing. Sorry, I'm really taking the historical fiction for a moment. It's so oversaturated. It's unbelievable. That genre of book is so oversaturated. There's just a billion historical fiction books. And so for Kristin Hannah to do a second one, much less when it's already inundated with so many books, is bold. But I've heard it's very different and amazing.
What do you mean a second one?
Because The Nightingale.
Oh.
She's already crushed that genre.
Oh, okay.
So she just did another one. But I've heard literally such good things.
Yeah, it's really good. So it's basically just about women in the Vietnam War.
Okay.
And it follows a girl nurse and like her journey as a nurse through the war.
Okay.
And it's really, really good.
Okay, that's interesting because I feel like all the historical fiction books I've read are always World War II, not Vietnam. So maybe that's like a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
That's nice. Her writing style has got to be just one of the best.
Yeah, and I'm listening to it.
Okay.
Audiobook, because one of my friends that reads a lot, she said that it was like a good audiobook. Because, you know, some can be good and some, the person that's reading it, you're like, oh my gosh, this is torture.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It really depends on the reader. Do they have a name other than that?
That's a good question.
Because they're not the author.
No, they're not
Just
the author.
the
I think they
reader?
are narrated by.
Narrator. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the narrator's good. So if you guys want to listen, I think it's on Spotify as well.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, I'm about 12 chapters in, so
Yay.
I'm loving it.
Good.
Yeah.
That's amazing. How's your reading journey going? Still.
It's good.
Cruising?
Yeah.
Good.
I think I'll probably do 2, maybe 3 books for the month, so we're
Okay.
ahead of schedule.
Okay. Love.
Yeah.
I'm really needing to get back into the evening reading. I think about doing it every single night and then I just don't. But
Yeah.
last night I did order 2 new books.
What'd you order?
I ordered Tiny Beautiful Things. Have you heard of it?
No.
I've already read it, but I listened to it on audio back in 2021. There's always this kind of anonymous submission in the New York Times or these certain papers where you could send in advice
Mhm.
and this anonymous writer would respond and it would be published in a newspaper. And that is nationwide, but also county-wide, depending on where you live. And so there was this one really popular one called Dear Sugar, and it's just called it's an advice column.
Uh-huh.
And so people would literally always be so excited because one every week is going to be something new from Dear Sugar. And people write in, Dear Sugar, I need help with, do I leave my husband? And then they'll give context.
It's literally like the Tuesday tea.
It literally is. Instead of Dear Maddie and Carly, it's Dear Sugar.
Did they get the idea from us?
Yes. Yes. We need to copyright that. Thank you. Or trademark, whatever it is we read. And I was talking to my dad actually about it, and he said that there are a few other ones, and I think it's just, again, based on where you live, but he was like, I think it'd be really good for you to reread that. And so I was like, you know what? When I listened to it, I was looking for answers of what to do for calling off my wedding. And I remember being on walks, listening to that book, like just searching for something to tell me yes or no or what to do. And I'm like, you know what? I need to reread it because it was just like such a different headspace I was in, and I want the physical book. So I ordered that one. Actually, I think I ordered The Woman.
Oh.
Like, my favorite thing is to buy like thrifted books online. There's like thrift stores. So they're super duper cheap. So I think I got both of those for $10.
Online?
Free shipping, yeah.
There's book thrift stores online.
Oh, yeah.
I did not know that.
Oh, yeah. I do not do Amazon.
You just Google book thrift stores?
I just Googled the book I want to buy. So I knew I wanted to buy Tiny Beautiful Things. So I typed it in, and like the shopping thing that comes up on Google is all thrift stores. It'll say like $1, $2, $3.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's amazing.
It's
Life
amazing.
hack.
Yeah, it's amazing. This one was called From World of Books, I think, and it was free shipping for $10. And so I was like, I'm going to get another book. No, I didn't get The Woman. I tried to get The Woman. It was $30, and I was like, nah.
Oh.
I got The Fourth Wing, and I've been dying to read The Fourth Wing.
Okay.
And that was like $5. So
well, you should just do The Woman on Spotify.
I can't listen to Kristin Hannah on audio. I know. I'm so weird about that. I just care. I really like her writing, and I really enjoy reading her. So,
okay.
But I do need more audiobook recommendations. I need to
turn all mine down.
I need to read The Handmaid, The Housemaid.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a good? I know that's a great audiobook.
That is a good audiobook.
Okay. I was thinking about reading that one physically because I've heard it's so good, but I know you also said it was an amazing audiobook.
Yeah, you should, because they're coming out with the movie soon.
They are?
Yeah.
Okay, I will.
If anyone who's listening has historical fiction recommendations, let us know. Or audiobook recommendations for you.
Yeah.
We also need to start our book club.
We do. I've been pulling together some options, and I think it'd be fun if we do like a few chapters a week and just do a little quick discussion.
Yeah. So stay tuned. We'll probably take votes on what book on our Instagram stories. So make sure that you're following us there if you want to be in the book club. Yeah. Yeah. You know what movie I watched yesterday? What?
Or 2 days ago?
What?
Woman of the Hour.
What'd you think?
I don't know. I think I actually really do need to unpack it. I don't know. I haven't even researched the guy. Is he a real guy? He's a real man? Yeah. Is he dead? Is he in prison?
He's for sure in prison. I don't know if he's dead.
That was disgusting.
I know. It was like
that was
one of those movies that just stays with you after you're done watching it, you know? It kind of haunts you a little bit.
Eerie. It was so eerie. And it was like, I don't like to know plots or summaries of things before I watch them, so I had no idea what it was about. And I was like, I texted you and I was like, I'm watching Woman of the Hour. You should watch it with me.
Well, I was like stressed about something and texted you about it, and you're like, you should decompress. Go put on Woman of the Hour and relax. And I'm like, I'm sorry, the movie about a serial killer? That'll make me relax? And
I texted back and I was like, oh, really? It is? Oh, shoot. I do remember texting you that. I was like, just unplug. Yeah. Go lay in your bed and watch this movie with me. That's so funny. Yeah, I didn't like it. I think it was a well-done movie, but it was just really creepy and awful.
Yeah, so it's based on a true story, and it took place, in like the 70s or something, and this serial killer was on a dating show, and he didn't end up killing the girl that he matched with on the dating show, but I think that's how they found him. Or no, it's not how they found him, but he had been reported something like 50 times before the police took it seriously. It was just crazy.
Like this sly talker. He was so gross.
Yeah. The way that, I don't want to ruin it for anyone that hasn't watched it. If you haven't watched it and you want to watch it, skip forward like 30 seconds. But the way that he got caught was because one of the girls lived through I think he would kind of sexually abuse them and then kill them, like strangle them.
He would strangle them.
But she woke up.
Yeah.
And then she, instead of acting scared, she was like, let's not tell anyone about this. Like, I don't want to be embarrassed, but like, let's go to your house and, whatever. Yeah. Like, she totally manipulated him. And I'm like, how smart. I would not think to do that. Like, I would be like frantic. Yeah. Kicking and screaming. Yeah. But she was so smart. And I was like, wow, I guess I'll think about that if I'm ever in that situation. Yeah. That's a really good manipulation tactic. But then, so they were driving and she ended up being able to get out of the car. And
I was thinking, I was like, why didn't she take the car? He got out of the car to go to the bathroom. I'm like, she looked young, but like,
Yeah.
because you can get away a lot faster.
Well, maybe he took the keys.
Oh, maybe he did.
Have you heard about the Uber situation in Nashville that just happened?
With the gas?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, terrifying.
Awful. With the guy who put the mask up?
Yeah. So if you guys haven't heard about this girl posted on TikTok, and it's all over the news and everything now, but she was in an Uber in Germantown, which is like a really nice area of town, and it was during the day, and she was in it by herself, and he was driving, and she was on her phone with her AirPods in, and she noticed out of the corner of her eye him lift up his center console, and like steam kind of came out, like she saw something in the air. And then she saw the Uber driver cover his mouth with his sleeve. And then she looked up at the rearview mirror, and he was covering his mouth and his nose and looking directly at her in the rearview mirror. And she said that she just instinctively held her breath. But she like kind of took like a little like gaspy breath. And as soon as she did that, she started to like feel tingly and like numb and lightheaded. And she just like knew instantly that something was happening. So she ended up literally opening the door and just running out of the car, which thank God the door was unlocked.
Literally. What an idiot.
Yeah. And she ran to the corner and was trying to tell people what happened. And she said she couldn't even speak because she was like so lightheaded. And she said she wasn't sure if it's, what's that chemical that?
Chloroform?
Yeah, chloroform. She said maybe it was that, but she doesn't really know. But he was obviously trying to sex traffic her or kidnap her or something.
And she said even the license plate and everything was right. It was the right driver. Like, that is so scary.
Yeah.
That is so scary.
Yeah, especially like in Germantown, you know. And I Uber by myself sometimes when I'm like coming home from the airport, you know. And you have to be so alert. Like, you cannot be on your phone or looking at emails or talking to someone. You have to be watching them, making sure they're going the right way. It is so scary.
I'm weird about that stuff. I've always been the type of person that wants to put earphones in and just listen to music or call somebody, and I won't. Because I'm just paranoid about that stuff.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, think of it. How easily could something happen? Very easily.
Yeah.
All he has to do is take your phone, throw it out the window, or grab it, and it's game over. You can't report it. You can't call the cops.
Yeah.
It's a very vulnerable situation, just the concept of rideshare. You know this about me. Like, I drive everywhere. Like, even the most inconvenient concerts, football games, I'm like, nah, I'm driving. And it's like,
yeah.
The main reason isn't because of safety, but I just really don't like taking Ubers.
Yeah. I know, it's scary. I also heard about something happening in Nashville where they do it downtown to drunk people who are Ubering from Broadway. And the Uber will pick them up in the car and then drive them like halfway or something, and then pull over and say that their ride was canceled and that they had to get out. And they do it to drunk people, so it's like, what are they going to do? You know, they're not like really coherent. So they get out of the car and are like stumbling around, and the Uber has someone behind them come, like follow the Uber and then rob the people as they get out.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, so they'll get out and not have anywhere to go, and then people will rob them. It's a whole thing happening in Nashville. Like, Nashville is unhinged right now, and I don't know why the mayor is not talking about it because it's crazy.
That's
Another
horrifying.
thing I've heard is this happened to a girl in Brentwood. She was driving and she stopped at a stoplight, and this car like got so close behind her so that he was like right up behind her, and then they like try and rob you because you're stuck in between the two cars. So I don't know if the car in front is part of the scheme too, but when she reported it to the police were like, yeah, that's been happening a lot. You need to just make sure that you leave enough space in front of your car so that you could see the bottoms of the tires touching the street so that you're able to turn and get away if someone like tries to trap you from behind.
That's a good call.
Yeah.
I remember this one TikTok a while ago, but they were on like an exit ramp and the two cars in front were in it. And they stopped on the exit ramp, but they did it side by side. So they like coordinated, obviously, stopped, parked, got out of their car. And then like the person there wasn't like a lane for them to get around.
Yeah.
And that's to steal their car and rob them.
Yeah.
And she literally just rammed. She just kept going. Yeah. Because she knew what they were going to do.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
Yeah.
It's so scary.
It really is. It just makes you, again, like, you have to be paying attention. You know, sometimes you go to a stoplight and you, like, check your phone.
Yeah.
And we really shouldn't be doing that.
I need these people to get frickin' jobs and stop being hooligans and ruining people's lives and just being awful.
Yeah.
Like, when we got robbed, it was like, that stays with you forever. It changes you. It makes you look at things differently. It makes you paranoid. Like,
yeah.
I don't understand what wires are crossed and like how people get to that. And I think it's probably honestly like who you hang around with and like what the buffoons are up to. Mm-hmm. It's just scary and it's frustrating and it makes me sad.
Yeah.
Like, to the root, are those people kind and good people? Probably not. I'd like to think they are.
I'm sure some of them are good people that they've just lost their way.
Yeah.
Or that's how they were brought up, so they don't know any different. But, I mean, either way, it goes back to, like, people that were looting people's houses during the fire. Like, people would evacuate their houses, and then people go in and loot the areas that were evacuated.
You're talking about in L.A.?
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah. There was a bunch of people that were robbing the houses that were evacuated. Isn't that crazy?
Oh my god!
Like, how awful can you be? That's like on the same level. Well, not same level, but similar level to people who rob people's houses on Christmas. You know, like Christmas Eve, because they know that there's a bunch of presents in the house. That's like one of the most common days to be robbed. When I went home for Christmas this year, we went to a soup party at my sister's friend's house. And he brought his girlfriend's parents over for the first time to meet the family and everything. Oh, while the girlfriend's parents were at the party, they got robbed. Their whole house robbed. And it was the weekend before Christmas.
Oh my god, that just makes me want to cry.
I know. People are evil. I don't.
What lack of joy in their heart. Like, don't they see the Christmas lights and think, this is so warm and cozy? How could we just completely obliterate their holidays?
I know.
I want to talk to them.
Yeah.
Like, why? Like, okay, you're telling me if you go get those gifts, and let's say you give them to your kids or you go and take them to a pawn shop, like, there's no guilty conscience. When they go to bed at night, do they sleep? I bet these people don't even sleep.
I feel like they probably do feel guilty and hate themselves a little bit, and that just makes them miserable people in general. And whenever I think about stuff like that that's happening around the world, not to be depressing, but I'm like, if this makes me so sad and I hear this one story of these people getting robbed, you know, that I know, think about God who knows everything that's happening all over the world, everything that people are doing, like from sex trafficking to murder to like burglary to just anything. And I'm like, how badly must his heart break for the people, you know, like just, it's so sad.
Yeah. Even just like going behind loved ones' back and like small little things that just can like seriously destroy someone's life or a relationship with somebody. Yeah, it's very sad. But on a lighter note,
how did we get into that?
Ubers. That's a really good question. Ubers. Ooh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how we got into that.
We really can like take a lot of avenues and just keep going down.
Every week that we sit down to film, we're like, are we going to have enough to chat about? And every week we're like, oh my gosh, it's already been an hour and a half.
We talked 65 minutes about home burglaries.
Yeah.
Weren't thinking about that.
Literally. Well, should we get into these neighbor stories?
Oh, I forgot to say one life update.
Okay.
That's really exciting. I had the incredible opportunity of witnessing Riley Green doing cardio this week. I don't know how that wasn't the top update.
That's our top priority on today's podcast.
You guys, it's better than you think.
Tell us about it, please, in grave detail. Don't spare a single lick.
Well, the worst part is once I realized what was in front of my eyes, I didn't know it was him. I just knew it was a beautiful, beautiful man. The worst part of it was I was in a conversation with a colleague. A new colleague, mind you. And I'd like to pride myself on being professional and like focused and intentional in eye contact.
No one can stay focused when Riley Green is doing cardio.
When any tall, built brunette with a mustache man is on the Stairmaster. Woo!
So what was he wearing?
Black cutoff. But it wasn't like the douchey cutoff. Remember in high school there was like a cutoff and it went like they would go down there. Yeah. No, it was just like a normal cutoff.
So his full arms were exposed.
His arms are the size of my head. They were like wide but not too toned, but perfectly toned that I just want to nuzzle my head on it. Do you know those types of arms where it's just big, but it's like toned, but it's not like
bodybuilder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just like you just.
It's like you don't care too much. You don't care too little.
Yeah. You put in work. Mad respect.
Yeah.
But you're not like probably taking pictures of them.
Yeah.
That's just where we like to be.
What about the shorts?
The shorts were like the good length. They were black, and it was like, it wasn't obviously short shorts, but it wasn't like the basketball shorts. It was like
I like it. Black on black.
Like a nice quad. I don't remember what the conversation I was having was about, and I'm pretty sure I left in probably mid-sentence if I had to guess. But I just walked by him, and I went to go fill a water bottle. I had a water bottle station right next to me, and instead I chose to go across the entire gym
I support that decision.
Just to sneak a peek. But you guys, like, you know, I wouldn't say, you know, he's something special. I would say that. But I wouldn't say, like, he's where your mouth drops and water comes out. I mean,
what?
I think it's the extra wrinkles. He's old. He's what, 40?
I don't know. Let me
Maybe
look it
he's
up.
not that old. But he's also a little womanizer. So to me, that's very unattractive, is when he's a womanizer.
He's 36.
Oh, okay. That's fine.
I wouldn't want to date the man per se.
Yeah, but I just wasn't expecting.
Like, if you didn't know who he was and his reputation, you probably would have been like...
I would have come over and said, I fear we have a disaster on our hands.
I fear we're getting married.
I fear, yeah.
You should have climbed up on the Stairmaster next to him.
That's the thing, though, Maddie, is I had just left the Stairmaster, and I was like... Maybe it's a blessing in disguise because I trip a lot on the Stairmaster on my own feet. And so had he just popped up right next to me, I think there definitely would have been broken ankles.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So maybe it's for the best. But I literally had just left the Stairmaster and I was like, gosh darn it. What the heck?
I think I may need to go to that gym.
I
fear I need. This gym,
agree.
By the way, you have to have like a membership. It's kind of a club.
Yeah.
It's not just a gym. It's very expensive.
Yeah.
But worth it? I don't know.
Some would say yes.
If we start getting ads on this podcast, that'll be my first. That'll be my first purchase solely for the fact that I can report to you all about seeing Riley Green on the Stairmaster. I would say that's a tax write-off. I'm using it for work.
100%. 100%. I couldn't agree more. It was a moment that I'm just going to let live in my brain rent-free for at least maybe another few days.
Yeah. Marinate on that.
I will. I can't unsee it. He walked backwards on the Stairmaster and I was okay with that.
Wow.
Yeah, that was nice.
That takes coordination.
Our man is a talented king.
He's agile.
Yeah. I don't know one song by him, but he's cute.
Yeah, he's very cute. He has a lot of I'm sure you know his songs, like, when you hear them.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, that's the wrap for my life update. I just felt like I should save the best for last, you know?
I love that. That was a little mic drop moment.
Yeah.
Okay, we ready to get into these neighbor stories? Well, before we get into them, let me tell you my neighbor story.
Oh, yeah, let's do it.
So, for those of you who were not around when all of this drama took place, it was 4 years ago when I moved into this house that I'm in now. The driveway situation is something you're going to have to understand, okay? There's one street, and then there's two homes on the street. There's a long driveway between those two homes that goes into the little cul-de-sac that I'm in. So when you're on the main street, you, like, can't see my house. And the driveway goes right next to this one house. So the sir that lives at this front house, let's call him Bob. Bob started causing a scene when delivery trucks would come deliver stuff to any of our houses back here because the trucks are really big, the driveway is narrow, and granted, one truck did hit his gutter one time. Don't know if that was my truck. I don't know when that happened, which truck was to blame. So his gutter was damaged one time. So I get he's upset. But to be fair, his house was here a long time ago. They built 5 homes back here, so they had to get cement trucks, like roofing trucks. They had to get all that supplies back here. So it is very possible for trucks to fit. They fit all the time. The FedEx guy comes to me far too often, and he whips his way up and down this driveway. He knows how to do it now. Yeah. But if someone's not paying attention, then they could hit his house. So I move into my house and I need a fridge delivered, right? And I had to wait 2 weeks for my fridge to be delivered. You don't realize how unfortunate it is to not have a fridge till you don't have one. You have to have every meal out. I was living out of an ice chest.
Oh
like,
my
it was
gosh.
just really hard. I wasn't being able to eat
dependency.
healthy because I'm having to eat out all the
Yeah.
time, and it was just not good. And so my fridge comes to be delivered, and they say they're on their way or whatever, and I'm just waiting and waiting, and then they call me and say, so we had to reschedule your delivery. Your neighbor wouldn't let us down the driveway.
What
And
did
I'm
he do?
like,
Stand in front of
"Excuse
the
me?"
driveway?
Yeah, so he, I assume, works from home and sits right at the front window, not to let a car go by without his watch.
Right.
So he came out and stopped them and told them that they were not allowed to drive down the driveway. I don't know why they listened to him.
Yeah, what?
But they did, and it delayed my fridge for another week.
Oh my gosh.
And so I talked to him about it nicely at that point, because I don't want to make enemies with my neighbors. But I'm like, you don't understand. Like, I don't have a fridge. Like, I need a fridge, and the truck can fit down the driveway. So he rubbed me the wrong way then. And then anytime I had a delivery, and I had to furnish the whole house, so every delivery, he would cause a scene. There's 3 times that made me really mad. First was the fridge. Second, I was having a guest for the weekend, and I ordered a mattress to have. And again, the delivery truck, he wouldn't let them out, goes outside, stops them, says no, again, deters them, and like tells them they have to come back. So I didn't have a bed for my friend that was coming to stay with me.
Oh my
and
gosh.
I'm just like, that time, I think I left a note, because it was happening to all my other neighbors too. Like, we were talking about it. Like, they were stopping his deliveries too. It wasn't just mine. But I asked the neighbors if it was okay that I write like a note from everybody saying like, hey, this is a communal driveway.
Yeah.
You have to let delivery trucks down. You have to stop like deterring them.
Yeah.
That it's just not allowed. Like, it's against the law. It's all of our driveway. You don't dictate it. Basically, I said it in a nice way, but I left it on his door, and then he came to my front door, knocked on it, like pounded on it.
You're lying.
And he goes, did you write this? And I said, yeah, it's from all of us back here. He's like, well, why didn't you just come talk to me? And I was like, well, I wanted to send a letter from everybody. I didn't want it to just be like me and you.
Yeah.
And he was so mad that I wrote that letter. But I'm like, you have to understand where we're coming from. And he's like, well, I don't want people to hit my house and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like,
then move.
that's not my problem.
No.
And you bought that house knowing that houses would be built back here.
That's
like,
crazy.
you were aware of the situation. And then the last one, this one irked my soul. So I didn't have a couch. I moved in May. I didn't have a couch till November. And this time when they come to deliver my couch, Sir gets out of his house and physically hops in the delivery truck because he tells them to stop. They say, no, I can fit. Like, I got it. And he's like, no, I don't want you to hit my house. And they're like, dude, I'm not going to hit your house. He jumps into the car, practically assaults the driver. Like, the driver, when he came to the house, he was like so mad. He's like, get out of my truck right now. Like,
good for him.
Yeah. And he ended up making them park at the end and dolly the entire couch.
You literally have no authority over the driveway.
I know. And now he still does that to this day. Anytime I have a big delivery, he'll come out. Like, I got a mirror delivered in my guest room the other week, and he stopped him. He makes them park on the street where there's nowhere to pull off. They literally have to block the whole street. And he makes them dolly, like, this 500-pound mirror down this, like, giant driveway. When they can fit.
You need to put in your, like, online order notes, do not listen to crazy man.
Yeah.
Like,
I do, honestly. It's so annoying. That time, I called him. I'm not proud of what I said, but I was like, I just laid it in him. I'm like, you cannot be doing this. You need to stop. Like, if you want to put a camera in the driveway so that you can see if someone hits your house and who to hold accountable, do it. Like, but you have to stop interrupting my deliveries. And he's just an asshole. Sorry to curse, but he is just so mean. He's so mean. And now, to this day, he hates me. He hates me.
What a crazy sense of entitlement.
We'll walk down the driveway. Like, this has happened at least 10 times. We're walking down. I'll say, hey, how's it going? Nothing. He just acts like he doesn't hear me.
Oh, like my gosh.
Yeah, he will. And if we're driving down and we have to, like, pass or something, I'll wave. He just looks away. He acts like I'm not there.
Who hurt him?
Maybe it was me.
It was me.
And one time I was going out the driveway while he was pulling in, and only one car could fit at a time. And so I was like all the way down it basically when he turned in. So he had to back up because like I was already almost out, and he threw his arms up at me. And I'm like, what do you want me to do?
Why does it hurt to be so unkind to your neighbors? Like, wouldn't you rather have a positive relationship?
Yeah.
Like you would rather just wave and like deal with the frustration of having to back up than like literally objectively be condescending and rude.
Yeah, he's the worst.
Like, what do you gain by that?
I know.
Nothing.
I know.
That's so crazy. And it's like also, okay, just because your whole house is furnished doesn't mean everyone else's back here is furnished. They have to order things.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he did it to everybody.
You're
everybody
not the
feels the
police.
same. He is the police.
The driveway police or the package delivery police.
He is. He's always there. He's always watching.
What a weird thing. I almost would put a sign on the fence and be like, don't listen to this man.
Yeah.
Like, keep driving.
I know.
Follow the light.
He put up a sign that says, like, narrow driveway, and then he built an easement in front of his house, which typically, you know, you have vines on, you make them look pretty. So he built one that comes out, like, an extra inch from his roof so that if someone's going to hit something, they'll just hit the easement. Which I'm like, that's technically not even allowed because it's going over the driveway, which is our property too. But
what a crazy man.
Whatever. I know.
My goodness.
He's wild.
I'm so sorry. Maybe one day he'll move.
Yeah, I hope so. It's all right, though. All my other neighbors are really nice, so.
Yes, you have sweet neighbors back here. Stay together.
Have you had a crazy neighbor?
I don't think so.
That's good.
I've had, like, in college, we obviously shared walls in our apartments, and just lots and lots of sex and lots of fights and hearing every detail.
Yeah.
But I'm very glad to not share walls with people anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have any crazy neighbor stories. I might if I really thought about it, but none that come to mind.
Well, you are moving into your house soon, so.
I know. I literally cannot wait. I'm counting down the days.
Okay. Well, we ready to get into these stories?
Yes, let's do it.
Okay, my first one. My neighbor was stabbed to death.
Good start.
Good start. Let me preface by saying I lived in a very nice neighborhood. I pulled out of my driveway one morning to go to Orange Theory, and there was caution tape all around her yard and policemen everywhere. I had just graduated college and was living with my parents at the time, so I called my mom to let her know. She immediately freaked out and made me stay home. She set the alarm on the house and was literally glued to the front window. Turns out our neighbor, who I will call Marie, had this housekeeper forever. She was essentially part of her family. Marie was a second mother to her kids. Well, the housekeeper's son was bad news, in and out of jail for various things. Well, he showed up one night asking for his mother's paycheck. Marie let him in, hence no sign of forced entry. And when she walked down the hall to go get the check, he grabbed a knife from the kitchen and stabbed her to death when she came back. Why?
That's really, really sad.
He took all of her valuable jewelry and left in the car. The kicker is his girlfriend was outside the whole time. They found the car abandoned on the side of the road about 10 miles away, and there was blood and evidence everywhere. It didn't take long to track him down. Once caught, the girlfriend claimed that she had no idea he just killed someone and assumed the blood was from cutting his hand and that Marie gifted him the jewelry.
Oh.
Needless to say, he's in prison now. The saddest part is Marie used to feed stray cats in the neighborhood. She always brought tons of cat food and left it out at night. The night she died, there was like 12 cats just sitting in her yard hungry and looking for food.
Oh.
We called the ASPCA to come pick them up so they could hopefully find their forever homes. Not long after her death, they bulldozed the property and rebuilt the house because the person who bought the house claimed to keep hearing a woman scream at random times.
Oh my gosh.
That one belongs in our Halloween episode.
Oh my goodness. How dark.
Oh, that's so sad.
Poor Marie.
I know. She was going to get him the check too. What's his deal?
Yeah, you were going to get everything except the jewelry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry to start out with a sad one, you guys. Yeah. I have happier ones, I swear.
Okay, I'll also start out with a death, just to really set the death tone, and then we'll go up from there.
Okay.
A few years ago, my older neighbors were going through tough times and were in and out of the hospital. Well, one day, the husband passed away in the hospital, and the next day, the wife died in her sleep. Her autopsy revealed she died from a broken heart. They were both so sweet, so it's bittersweet to have lost them, but happy they passed together, essentially.
Oh, it's like The Notebook.
I know.
Kind of.
I know. I've always, heard of people dying of heartbreak. I guess it's actually a thing.
Yeah. Ugh, Where the Red Fern Grows. Did you ever read that?
No.
Oh,
Is that a
you've
spoiler?
never read that?
No.
Yeah. Spoiler.
Yeah. Sorry. It's like
about,
1970. But
it's such an old book.
Yeah.
I think I read it in like 4th grade.
Yeah.
But it was 2 dogs that were best friends, and one died, and then the other one died
Stop.
after because of a broken heart.
Don't do this to me.
I know.
I'm feeling sensitive out of nowhere.
I feel like I'm
Gosh,
going to cry.
Darn it.
Okay. No drama with me personally, but my old next-door neighbor and the neighbor across the street used to hate each other. The neighbor across the street had a bunch of cats. The cats would come use the bathroom in my next-door neighbor's yard constantly, which infuriated my next-door neighbor, understandably. They would often yell at each other about it, and one day my next-door neighbor had had enough. They were in an argument and started flinging the cat poop at each other. I'm sorry. It was quite the scene. My next-door neighbor moved shortly after. She didn't say that was the reason, but let's be real, it was.
That's disgusting.
How mad do you have to be?
No, literally, at what level of anger do you start throwing cat poop?
You pick it up with your hands.
That's sick.
You're
That
like,
is
you know what?
sick. Gross.
I've heard of like leaving poop in a bag on someone's porch or something.
That's nice. It's also like a business model. Like it's a company you can go through, so you don't even have to deal with the poop.
What?
Yeah.
There's a company that does that?
I've never utilized it, but it's in my back pocket.
Allegedly.
Right. Sorry. It wasn't for me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's so gross.
That is funny.
Also, I just feel like cat poop is more gross than anything else. I don't know why.
It is gross.
Okay. Oh, this one's disgusting. This is like a tummy turner.
Okay. I'm scared.
Yeah, you should be. I used to share back steps and a stoop with an old guy in a... oh my gosh, my stomach just moved a little. Sorry. With an old guy in a duplex. He had access to a nice front porch. However, he chose to clip his toenails on the back steps, and we'd have to step over them when coming home.
No. How many toenails? How many clippings did he have?
I'm not sure. I'm okay.
The crunch.
No, oh my god, that's what I just like couldn't let myself say because my stomach is doing weird things right now. I'm picturing and feeling the crunch.
The crunch.
They said they're stepping over, but like if it's like lava, it's kind of hard to.
Ew, that's so gross, sir.
You guys are disgusting. Like, don't.
Yeah.
If you're listening and you do that, don't. Put them in the bin.
I don't know anybody that does that.
I doubt you would know if somebody did.
Okay, my next one. I live in a townhome and I have a 6-month-old son. I sing to him every night while he's in the tub. One night I was singing Jesus Loves You to him, and I get a text from my neighbor that said, yes, Jesus does love you.
Aww.
You have a beautiful voice.
Oh, that's sweet.
Although very sweet, it stopped me in my tracks. I got my son out of the tub and ran away. No drama, just embarrassed.
It's like kind of creepy too. Because it's like, even if you can hear somebody singing, you don't like, unless it's a passive aggressive text.
Yeah.
That like, hey, I can hear you singing, please stop. It is kind of creepy, no matter what the intent is. Like, that's creepy.
Yeah, it's just jarring to think that someone was listening to you.
Like, that's an intimate moment.
That is an intimate moment. In the tub,
Tub.
nonetheless.
Yeah, that's gross. I love that she said she ran away. Where'd you go?
Yeah.
All right. My next one. I was refinishing the floors in my condo when a neighbor 2 floors down told me the noise was misaligning her chakras and asked me to have the floor people come back when she was out of town in 2 weeks.
What is a chakra?
It's like the vibe.
Oh.
Yeah. It's like a spiritual vibe.
Good.
In 2 weeks.
In 2 weeks.
Do you mind stopping because you're misaligning my chakras?
Honestly, I commend the boldness. She's like, hey, you're really killing the vibe.
Yeah.
Can you wait till I'm gone?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
How do you respond to that?
One of the emojis where you're like, 2 floors down, not even 1.
Jeez.
Yeah.
The audacity. Imagine living right next door to her.
Chakra City.
Oh, dear.
You couldn't even listen to Kendrick Lamar if you wanted to. That indeed would misalign the chakras.
Kendrick Lamar.
Yeah, remember we talked about him last week?
Yeah.
He's doing the Super Bowl.
Can't watch the Super Bowl?
Can't even listen to Humble by Kendrick Lamar if you wanted to.
Okay, my next one. This story takes place about 5 years ago. My husband was about to get out of the military, and we decided we wanted to move back to where I grew up to be close to my family. My family owns 6 out of the 10 homes on the hill we live on. Some family lives in the homes, some rent them out. My grandmother owns 2 homes in particular that share property and a driveway. These 2 homes were being rented out by the same tenant, let's call him Joe. One of them was his home and one he was using as an art studio. Right around the time we were looking to move, Joe had informed my grandma that he couldn't afford both homes anymore. Perfect timing because the particular home I had wanted was the one he was living in. Joe was taking a while to move all of his things out, which wasn't a big deal given we had a few months before my husband was out of the military and our lease was up. A few months later, he let us know that he moved out, and there's always cleanup and renovations that we do to the family homes when the tenants move out to get the homes ready for new renters. So we all went up to assess and plan everything out, and oh my lord, we were not expecting what we walked into. Windows were all boarded up, walls had been taken down, new weird walls had been added. There were various size holes in the walls and ceilings. Strange electrical had been run through the house. Exposed electrical, I might add. It was so bizarre. My grandma said that Joe was always a good tenant, and he did ask to make a few modifications. He just didn't specify what they were. She was picturing new tile, paint, light fixtures, etc., but that was not the case. It was an older house anyways, so we just took the opportunity to fully gut and redo the house, which was fun for me anyways. By the end of the renovations, the home was beautiful and we moved in. Joe was a great neighbor. We never had issues. I wish the story ended there. Fast forward 8 months, Joe approached my husband saying that he was having some electrical issues and asked if he could run an extension cord from our house for power until the problem got resolved.
Oh my gosh.
And he said he would pay the difference on our electrical bill. We had no issue and ran the cord. Well, we got to the end of the month and we get our bill and it's $5,000. We were in disbelief.
Oh my gosh.
My husband goes over to show Joe and he said he will give us cash in a few days. But then Joe went MIA, wasn't at the house for 2 weeks. So we contacted my grandma to see what to do. Turns out Joe had done something weird to his electrical at the home he was living in and the city shut his power off.
Oh my gosh.
And that's why he tapped into ours. And he was under investigation by the city. Not only that, but he informed my grandma that he would no longer be returning to the home.
Oh
so
my
we had to go in and clear out
gosh.
the house. We walked into 4 hairless cats, 3 dogs, and an abandoned grow house. He had taken all the plants with him and left the rest of the setup behind and left all the animals to fend for themselves. The animals had obviously peed and pooped everywhere. All of his belongings was left behind, and it was an absolute disaster to say the least. We never found out the whole story, but our best guess is he was doing a lot of shady stuff and made enemies with the wrong people. As for the electrical, I guess he jimmy rigged some stuff so that he was able to pull more power for his plant growing without the city realizing, thus not having to pay for the amount of power he was using, and that's why they shut his power off, because they caught on. As for our large bill, given the circumstances, the city graciously waived the excess charges from the power we didn't use. After we figured out what he was doing with the homes, we realized that my house was not an art studio and was his original grow house. We were never able to find him and were left to fully fix up and move everything out of his house. Long story short, be careful who you rent to, and if your neighbor asks to run an extension cord from your house, say no.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Holy smokes. I didn't even know
whirlwind.
you could jerry rig electrical, like, so the city doesn't find out.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I know.
What a lunatic.
I know.
What were you doing with those plants?
I think it's probably weed.
Also, I would never, Also, I would never in a million years think, oh, my electrical's out, let me run an extension cord from my neighbor's house.
I
It's
know.
like, that's so bizarre. Joe, what the heck? Where are you? Where'd you go?
A wild spirit.
Yeah.
That Joe.
The fact that he was renting 2 houses at once, too, for an art studio, allegedly, like, that's crazy. Also, if he passed a background check, it's like, how was the gut check when she was renting to him? Like, what if he passes that? That's what scares me.
She obviously didn't look into him too much. She didn't even ask what the renovations were that he was
modifications,
doing.
It's like, no, there's actually 17 new walls in the house.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Joe, sweet Joe. Well, way to endure.
Hope the best for him.
Yeah.
Hope he's well.
Yeah. Hope he's not causing any havoc anywhere. Okay, speaking of plants, I have one. My neighbor came into my backyard when she thought we university students had gone home for the summer. I still lived in the house, though. In fact, I was sitting by the window when she entered our backyard. I thought nothing of it. I chalked it up to her looking for her cat. I went back to reading my book and completely forgot about her until I saw movement out of the corner of my eyes some while later. She was walking out of my backyard with all of our plants. She stole our entire garden.
What?
I was so
plant thief?
I was so astounded that I just sat there and stared at her. I didn't even try to stop her. Just like,
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You don't say, excuse me, what are you doing?
hello.
She was back there with the shovel.
Yeah. I don't know what she's doing, what her strategy is, but it's an audacious strategy at the very least.
Is that the end of the story?
That's it. She stole their entire garden. How does that make you feel? Would you prefer more
Did
closure?
you never confront her? I'm so
No, you
confused.
just watch her walk back and forth. Like, all right, just
Like,
let her have it.
You don't think your neighbors are going to notice that all your plants are missing and then they just show up in your neighbor's yard?
Right. Like, wow, she's really growing all of those carrots. Well, where'd she get those carrots? You know what I mean? Like, no.
That's so funny.
What kind of people are those kind of people?
Kleptos.
Nah, that's well past kleptos. You're literally stealing. You're going into another person's...
That's what a klepto is.
No, is it?
Yes,
No,
a kleptomaniac is a thief.
It's not. I don't think it is.
Yes, it is.
Wait. An impulse control disorder that results in an irresistible urge to steal.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I thought a kleptomaniac was like someone who wants like free stuff.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Okay, well, she's a klepto for sure.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's just aggressive. It's really aggressive to steal someone's garden.
Yeah, that's
and
so
the fact
funny
that they just watched.
Yeah, the fact that, like, she did that, first of all, savage.
Yeah.
The fact that she just stared and didn't do anything.
Just watched. Not even a bystander. It's your own home.
Just too stunned to speak.
No, literally.
Okay, my next one. This is a sweet neighbor story. We moved into our house a few years ago, and Mr. Z was our elderly neighbor. I'm a little shy, so I never talked to him much, but he always talked to my husband. They actually got pretty close. He would poison the weeds that grew in the cracks of our driveway and sidewalk, look out for me and my girls when my husband was out of town, keep an eye on our house, talk to our dog, etc. The sweetest neighbor. He got cancer and wasn't going to make it much longer.
Oh.
We got closer to him. My husband helped him with his errands, home repairs, etc. He asked me to make his last meal. It was something I never heard of and never made before, but his sister wrote down the recipe for me, and I cooked literally his last meal for him.
Oh my gosh.
He passed, and his sister rented his house out to some pot-smoking rednecks, and I really miss Mr. Z.
Wait, that's so sad.
So sweet.
Also, how did he know it was his last meal?
I don't know.
Well,
Maybe you just know.
it's just a gut feeling.
Aww.
Okay. Well, this is somber.
Mr. Z.
I'm so glad he had you guys. That's
I
really,
know.
really sweet.
I know. I just love old people. And
Oh,
to
you
have
do?
an old neighbor, I just feel like that would be the dream. Just
Yeah.
a little old soul that checks on you. And
Yeah.
I just love that.
Yeah, that's really tender. It's like humanity is restored in your neighbor. That's what you feel like.
Yeah.
Okay, a bunch of folks moved out and some new neighbors moved in. They met us once to ask permission for barbecuing. That was literally the only time I saw them. They'd never come out. You'd never see them morning or evening. They were never at the local shops, and when they moved in, they had 15 mattresses in a 4-bedroom house, which raised some red flags, but we didn't think much of it because they were quiet. Turns out they were running a brothel. Indeed, yes, they were arrested.
What?
Yeah.
They owned a brothel and they barbecued.
Yeah, just that once. Just a one-time barbecue. That's what to look out for.
Did you not know?
I mean, I feel like 15 mattresses in a 4-bedroom house should make you think something of it.
Yeah. Well, how do you know how many mattresses? Did you watch them carry them in?
Like 1, 2.
Jeez, that's crazy. That just made me think of my sister. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this story, but
She run a brothel?
yeah.
Yeah, how'd you know?
No, but she lives next door to a in-home daycare.
Okay.
And one day they were raided. So it was like a couple that ran the daycare. The husband was convicted of sexual abuse
Oh my god.
for the children. And
Ma'am.
they
Oh my
run
God.
an in-home daycare. And
Okay.
they found it because the wife turned the husband in. I don't know how she found out what happened, but the wife
I don't
turned him
want
in.
to know.
And the wife continues to run this daycare. The husband is in jail, obviously, so he's not there anymore, but she still has the daycare.
How?
I know. It's like, how does
Also,
she
what
not?
parents would...
I don't know. I don't know
continue?
if people know. I don't know. I would assume that something like that is on her.
Has to be
like,
publicized.
Yeah, it has to be public record. But I don't know because she didn't do anything wrong. I don't know if you need a license to have a daycare.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
But
oh,
I
my
know.
gosh. That is disgusting.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's
It's
disgusting.
So sad. I know. Every time I see kids go in there, I'm like, it's obviously not the wife's fault, and that's her business. You know, you don't want her to have to.
Yeah. But what a
her
shocking revelation for your husband, much less your business.
I know.
Like, that's just awful.
Like, do you think her business should be taken away?
I don't know. That's a good moral dilemma question. I'm surprised she even has business, even though it's not her fault.
Yeah.
Like, that's where people trust other people with the sole livelihood of their children and keeping them alive and, like, in a safe, healthy environment. Even if they're not learning, like, they're safe and they're healthy. And I don't know. If that was my kid and, like, I knew it was the husband and not the wife, no chance.
Yeah.
No chance. I don't know if it should necessarily be taken away, but I feel like it also depends on who owned the business. Because if it was joint, I imagine it would be stripped. But maybe her name was just on it, maybe?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, that's really tragic.
Yeah.
I'm glad he's in prison.
Yeah. Okay. My next one. We had somebody break into our home when I was in junior high. My dad ended up coming home while the break-in was happening and chased the guy. The guy got into his car. My dad dove in the passenger window and ended up apprehending the guy. What a baller.
Go, team.
He stole some collectible coins and a brand new package of women's socks. Interesting choice.
So concerned.
My parents go to court for this incident. I love that they still go to court, even though that's what it was. And the guy ended up being our neighbor from a couple doors down that no one really talked to. He went to jail, but it was so wild that he lived by us.
Oh my gosh, you break into somebody's house for collectible coins and women's socks.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
These neighbors are stealing plants. They're stealing coins. They're stealing socks.
You guys have weird fetishes or something. Like, go in for the money if you're going to go in.
Yeah, go all out if you're going to.
Maybe don't Maria it, but like.
Yeah. He literally went to jail for coins and socks.
That's crazy.
That's wild.
I could have given him coins.
Yeah.
Like,
I wonder what the craziest thing that someone's been to jail for is.
That's a really good question. Possibly. Yeah, that's crazy. Wow, they went to prison for that. That's wild. I'd be curious if they stole it from, like, a department store, if the punishment would change. Like,
I think it just depends if they press charges.
Like, does a home invasion change? I almost feel like a home invasion is worse than a department store.
It's because it's home invasion and theft.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh, I hate home invasion stuff. Okay, my last one. This one, like, encompasses all of our stories all at once.
Okay.
I don't know how we chose it like this, but it's actually crazy. My neighbor sits in his yard, hides behind his plants, and meows at people who pass by.
Oh.
Not the sympathy. He's not dangerous at all, but is not in the right headspace either. His caretakers are his parents, and they seem to be very nice people.
Oh, sweet.
His dad once told me he just likes to be a cat and left it at that. I didn't ask any more questions.
Sometimes, why not? If he's happy. He's a peaceful cat. Let him meow. Oh, that's kind of sweet.
I love the just, like, unbelievable level of empathy you've given. I just, like, that's just absolutely unreal. I love that for us. I agree. Just let him be. Maybe put a little collar and a bell on him.
Yeah, he means no harm.
Is he pooping outside?
Does he have a litter box? I don't know. Aw, sweet man. I like him.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay, my last one. I lost my grandparents last year and have missed them so much. Since losing them, I have a larger appreciation for old people and love to hear their stories.
Sounds like you.
We had lived in this apartment complex for over a year, and a few months ago, the cutest little old lady moved in across the hall. My dream. My boyfriend and I were guessing what her name could be. I guessed Daphne, and he guessed Ruth. I baked some cookies and pumpkin bread, determined to be friends with her, and she introduced herself as Ruth. I didn't hear from her for about a month after that, but she made me cookies and left them with my name by our front door.
Oh,
she remembered my name. I was so honored. I wrote her a thank you note and left my phone number. Turns out we're from the same hometown in New Mexico, both now living in Colorado, and lived in a similar area. I brought her back biscuitos, I don't know how to say that, but they're New Mexico cookies when I went home to visit my parents for Christmas. And since then, we've been bringing each other baked goods on a weekly basis.
Oh my goodness grief.
I know. Last week, she left me taco soup, chips, sour cream cheese, and cookies
Get it, Ruth?
all outside my door with a step-by-step instruction on how to make it.
It's almost like they're competing. Like now she's going to have to drop off like a Thanksgiving dinner every week.
Each week it's going to just full groceries.
Outdoing each other.
We've had hours of conversation and she is so lovely. I consider her my substitute grandma and I just adore my Ruth.
I'm obsessed, Ruth.
There is something about a baked good.
No.
A homemade baked good. Like one of my neighbors the other day, she dropped off cookies and brownies with a note with a Bible verse on it during the snow day that we just had.
Yeah.
And she dropped it off for everybody tied with a bow.
Yeah.
And it is just so sweet. It means so much. It's so meaningful. And it's just the smallest like gesture that you can do.
It's just like homegrown and it's like made with love. Something about that. And I think like the joy giving it and receiving it is both monumental.
Oh, absolutely.
Like when I've not done it to that level, but like I live to do that. I just don't have the time right now. Mm-hmm. So like the wonderfulness inside of me knowing people are doing that in their spare time is iconic and inspiring.
I know.
And I would like them all to have a special place in heaven.
I think they will.
I agree.
I think they will.
I agree.
It's just the sweetest thing
really
that you could do.
It really is.
I can't wait till the day I have an old neighbor. I just am so excited about it.
There's got to be some way we can make that happen. I don't know how much we can force that, but
I know.
You know what? Actually, I know how we could do it. You could buy another house and like only put in offers when you find out who the neighbors are. You can't really control who moves in here, but you could control out there.
Yeah. Small problem.
And
you have to buy another house.
You have to buy another house.
You know.
Yeah. Minimal problem. And then we also got to keep them alive.
I think I'll probably stick with finding a senior home to volunteer at before buying another home, but I love the idea.
Feels a little less risky. Got it. Got it.
Yeah.
True. Good point. Yeah, Harry Styles plays bingo with senior citizens.
You're lying to me.
No, I'm not.
I knew we were meant to be. I love bingo. Bingo's my favorite pastime.
Actually, I feel like you have told me that.
We need to play bingo somewhere. Okay. There's a place in Nashville, a brewery that does bingo.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, we should do that. Mm-hmm. The place right next to me does Singo.
Singo?
Yeah, they play these songs, and obviously they don't tell you what it is, and you have a bingo card full of names, or like song names.
Wait, we should do that.
I think it's might be Tuesday. I'm not sure what day of the week it is. We should look it up. But yes.
That's fun.
Bingo for the oldies.
Okay, I like it.
Okay. These were great.
Yeah, these were fun. Thank you guys for sending these in. We loved reading them. This was a hoot. If you're not following us on Instagram, be sure to follow us because that's where we're doing all these submissions so you guys could submit your stories. And give us a rating and review if you feel so inclined. Only 5 stars, please. Thank you.
Only 5 stars.
And we will see you guys next Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.